Would you be okay with a $29,000 profit instead of a average of 45,000 to 120,000 profit? Okay, guys, welcome to another Deal Structure Sunday. It's Chris Prefontaine. I am with Claudia Dill from Arizona, who's already been on some Deal Structure videos. Welcome, Claudia, and thanks for coming on again.
Thank you.
You're becoming the regular. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is a good thing.
I wrote down some numbers, so we'll keep this short and sweet for these guys. This is a very short-term deal, and the reason I said the opening I did of 29,000 is that is below your average. That's below the average of the entire Wicked Smart associate community.
Mm-hmm.
But is 29.9 okay when the deal is less than 12 months? I think so. I think it's not a bad deal. So let's go over it. This was okay, first I didn't ask you this before we started the recording. Is this a expired or a FSBO or for rent?
This was a canceled.
A canceled, okay.
Between realtors, I picked it up.
And you mailed or you called for us? What do you remember?
This was a couple years ago. So I'm trying to remember. I must have called. I did call.
Call first, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a canceled that you called. The scenario with the seller was what? Were they moving? Am I thinking of the right people?
That is correct. He is an educator and was moving to a new school district about 50 miles away, 60 miles away, and they needed to sell.
Good motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was summer.
Okay, cool. So that lines up, and I just want to highlight that for the viewers. Clearly, when we have the right motivation, usually we can structure a deal. And when they're leaving and the season's here and all that, that's a good reason to structure a neat deal. Okay, these guys owed. I have my chicken scratcher. Just tell me if I'm wrong. These guys owed roughly 186 ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys settled on a price that day of 200.
Correct.
For people that might be new, we get off of price. We just use it as a calculation. We say, for example, today, your house we're saying is about 200,000. So we're locking in the 13 and change. Let's call it 14,000 in equity for you on or before the end of the term. We're going to pay that equity to you of 14, and we're going to pay off your loan. That's the discussion. Claudia, I just got off a three-way phone call with Steve Murnick with a house that's sellers were 690. Nice house.
Nice.
2 mortgages. And they just didn't understand the whole price thing. I said, get off price. We're going to pay your mortgages off, and we're going to pay you, I think it was 140 grand at the end of the thing. He said, okay, I get that. So focus on what the cash they're getting out if you're watching this for your deal structuring, not the price. Use the price as a gauge and then get off of it. Okay. So then you went to market at 209.9, despite me thinking you should go at 219.9. Yep. Side note. So at 209.9, it's not a bad deal. I'm just busting Claudia because I can.
That was my second deal. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, exactly. This was an earlier deal for Claudia. You're going to find out why, by the way, we said 12 months and it's only her second deal, but she's done a whole bunch of other deals. There's a caveat to the story here. So on this buyer, the markup from 200 to 209.9 technically in our head before I do the other calculations was only 9,900. They came to the table at the buyer signing a couple weeks ago. I think it was with how much?
8,000.
8,000 payday one. Any scheduled paydays after that? I forgot to ask you that.
No.
No, because it's so short term.
It's a short term, and they're actually intending to buy even within that term. Not
yeah. And this guy already applied for a VA loan, right?
Right.
So this was his on-ramp. Do you remember why he needed the on-ramp? I don't. What was the on-ramp?
They were in a mold-infested condo that she owned. And
Lovely.
They could not remediate it because of the upstairs condo was owned by somebody who had passed, and there was no access to it. There still was in probate or something.
Wow.
Really bad need, and they were
That's
sick.
unique. I don't know if I heard that. Wow. Okay, so good that you filled that gap for them.
Yeah, they were urgent.
So you had this is a side note, but you had a super happy seller and a super happy buyer, which is often the case.
Yes.
Neat.
Yes, all the above. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 8,000 payday one. Payday two is very thin. I think your outgo is 1,505, and your incoming is 1,690, less some pool maintenance, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we got a whopping $60 there. So it's $720 if they go the whole term. That might be a record low, Claudia. Just make a note of that one.
I would never do that if it was going to be the full term.
I know. Again, I'm just busting. Okay. Payday 3, just so they know how to calculate this, and hopefully it'll be shown in some shape, form, or fashion when Ryan does the editing. Payday 3 is you have to take the markup of 9,900, 200 to 2099. You have to take the principal pay down of approximately, it was 3 something, so I think it was like 3,900-ish over the course of the 12 months. So 3,900 principal pay down, meaning that loan of 186 that Claudia started with is less when she goes to pay it off. And then you have to subtract the fact that they already gave her $8,000 though. So her total all paydays, before I tell you the caveat to the story, is about 13,800. But they already brought 8,000. So her payday 3 is going to be a whopping 5,800. But again, she put the pieces together of the puzzle and came out with the 13,800 in less than 12 months. Not too shabby. Caveat, you had a buyer who, a couple who got separated, right? Broke up.
Correct.
And they had originally paid you a payday 1 of 15,000.
15,000, right?
Okay. I didn't ask you before we did this. How long were they in the house?
I'm going to say it was about, well, that I knew about, 16 months. 16,
Okay. So during that time, you had more principal pay down of about 3,900 though.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
so you got the new 13,800, you got the old 15,430, you got the old 3,900 on the principal pay down.
Yeah, and the old pay down was
a little less.
Was no more. It was is that right? Can that possibly be? Yes.
It wouldn't be more unless they redid the loan.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right. You're right.
Let's just call it 39 again, and let's round up to 4. But
so 12 months, yeah.
Yes, and so when I opened the video, I said 29.9, but you actually got 29.9 plus about 4, but you had some turnover expense, so let's just call it 29.9.
Okay.
Yeah, wash. But the point is twofold. One is you did this turnaround quick. Everybody says, well, what if I lose my buyer? Well, they had a life event. I've had it. I had a couple that got divorced. I had 2 women that relied on each other's income, and they had a split, and they said, here's the keys. I'm sorry, it didn't work. So it happens, but you pivoted. Instead of selling outright, you picked up some more money. Because if you sold it outright, you would have had some expenses right away and no ongoing principal pay down and all that.
Absolutely
so
correct.
You had a nice on-ramp. Okay, that's pretty cool. Any other nuances or ahas or lessons that maybe the viewers who have been watching us or new could glean from that we didn't bring up that I forgot maybe?
Even though we like to let these folks live their own lives and they're buying this house in essence over time, I really recommend that you kind of keep in touch with them maybe every 6 months so that you kind of get and establish enough of a rapport that you can feel what's going on, and trust your gut. I did speak with these folks just before they left, not knowing that they were leaving. And there were some signs, but I interpreted it as financial issues, not personal issues.
Yeah.
And so I knew it was because that's what I wanted to hear, to know. It wasn't because of the reality. So stay in touch on a limited basis, but do stay in touch.
Okay, good point, because our agreements that they all have access to if they're in the QLS video program, the Academy, calls for your inspections if you want them. And so what we do, Claudia, I think you'd definitely after going through that agree with this now. What we do is we make a judgment call, a gut, as you say. We either do 6 months if we're unclear. And the 6 month includes a walkthrough and a revisit of, hey, where are they with their finances? It's a great setup to do both. 2 out of 6 that I did last month, probably 3 months ago now, but we're acting on them now. 2 out of 6 needed so much work. They weren't keeping up with it. I said, you got to do A, B, and C, or we're going to do it and you're a tenant. And at the end of the lease, you're out. And we have plenty of time after that term. So I think one of them is going to be gone, and the other one is going to put their big boy pants on and get this place fixed up and perform. But if we weren't doing the inspections, to your point, we wouldn't know. If you think they're going great, they're paying great, you're not hearing from them, your gut is from your meetings, hey, they're probably great, have them send you pictures. And then only do once a year. That's all.
That's
We've
nice.
done that too.
Yeah.
So any other lessons that we forgot? I think that was pretty good mouthful.
It's pretty, lessons were learned.
Good deal. Guys, thanks for joining us for another Deal Structure Sunday. I hope to see you at the next Quantum Leap System live event. Claudia's been to, I don't know, four?
How many have you had?
4.
Okay.
Coming up, I think. And then
Yeah, this is the
business,
fourth. Yeah.
business scaling as well. Claudia's been to that. I lose track because you also go to the mastermind. So tune in for that, guys. Also, if you have questions on this deal, put it here, wherever you're watching it is here. Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're catching this. And if you have other questions that you just want to throw at us, throw those on. It could have nothing to do with this deal. You could just be thinking about it as you're on this. And I look forward to meeting you in person at the next QLS Live. Thanks for being on again, Claudia.
Thank you. It was fun.